Why do 9 out of 10 people fail to hit their body transformation goals? And how can you avoid being one of them? Well, in this video, I'm breaking down the real reasons why 90% of people will not get lean this year, and ranking them based on insights from some of YouTube's top fitness channels, so you can get lean without the gym bro routine. And first up, let's unpack some seriously secretive knowledge bombs being dropped by a bunch of doctors on the Diary of a CEO podcast. But we're ranking today's strategies from all the way at the bottom, that gym bro noise, to all the way at the top, those undeniable winners. So you know exactly what works and what doesn't. So now let's hear from these doctors.
Exercise doesn't help weight loss.
No. All the studies show that.
What? So we don't need to work out anymore?
We also see in men 1,300% increase in testosterone just from somewhere between a 13 to 15 hour fast.
Wow, 1,300%! So I guess we can skip sleep, quality food, and body fat reduction for testosterone now.
Veganism, plant-based in particular, is a diet for the privileged people.
Put the broccoli down, you plant-based eating elitist. But hold up, if this is true, then why do all the lean guys you see exercise? And why doesn't everyone who intermittent fasts look like Chris Bumstead? And why isn't steak and chicken cheaper than broccoli and lettuce if plant-based is for the privileged? Fact is, you'll hear a lot of claims like this that sound wild and groundbreaking, but what's really going on? Well, these doctors are a great example of taking a tiny kernel of truth and turning it into this shocking narrative that makes you think they've unlocked a secret. But here's the worst part. Getting stuck in the weeds of contradictory clickbait science stops you from doing what actually works. So how do you use the latest science without letting it derail your progress? 1. Filter out extremes. If a claim sounds too good or too crazy to be true, it probably is. 2. Test what works for you. We're all wildly different genetically, and to demonstrate, here's 2 examples I often see with clients. Example 1. How much training volume is right for you? Some people thrive with high volume training, tons of sets with lots of exercise variety and very high rep schemes, while others actually get better results with much less volume and higher intensities. Or example 2, which is better for your gains, meat protein or plant protein? Meat is often seen as a gold standard for high quality protein, but some people actually thrive better on plant-based diets because of the interaction between their gut microbiome and their genetics. And the third way to use science without derailing your progress is to prioritize what works long term. Focus on foundational habits that fit your lifestyle. That is your 80%. And if you want to experiment with new science or trends that you've heard about, that's cool. Just make it the 20% you experiment with, not the core of your routine. The bottom line is, wild claims will grab your attention, but they won't get you results. They'll leave you stuck in this cycle of chasing that next secret hack without making any real progress. And that's why these doctors, they land squarely in the gym bro noise tier. They're BS bandits pulling a fast one. And whether it's figuring out what's legit and what's clickbait, or you feel stuck and frustrated because you're not seeing results, I've got you covered. Click on the Ask Coach Tim link below so you can message me directly with your biggest fitness questions. I know you could be watching the Squid Games right now, so I seriously appreciate you hanging out here. And that's why I want to give back by helping you get lean. So click the link below, leave me a message, and let's make this year the year that you finally crush your goals and hit your dream physique. Now we've got Stan Efferding bringing us a reason to stay in bed longer and ditch that new year, new me, Jocko Willink 4:30 a.m. wake up call.
If you're waking up at 4 a.m. to do your fasted cardio after only 5 hours of sleep, you're stepping over $100 bills to pick up nickels. And that's been something I've said for many years.
So why is Stan so adamant about leaving those nickels on the floor and getting your beauty sleep?
One, when you don't get sufficient sleep, you have increased ghrelin release, which makes you hungrier, makes you want to eat more. You also have compromised insulin sensitivity, makes it a little easier for you to gain weight.
And let's not stop there, Stan. Let's add in impaired recovery, lowered testosterone, reduced energy for physical activity, and you're just left in this terrible spot where your body will struggle massively to burn fat and build muscle. Now, we all know the basic sleep hygiene tips, like keep the room cool and dark, and get off your screens before bed, and no caffeine after 2 p.m. But what if there's a way to supercharge your sleep for more fat loss and more muscle gain? Let's talk about GABA. GABA is a neurotransmitter that calms the nervous system, promotes relaxation, and reduces anxiety. This then improves sleep quality so we can all get jacked like Stan. And here's why it's critical for fat loss and muscle gain. 1. GABA stimulates the release of growth hormone during sleep, which mobilizes and burns fat plus preserves lean muscle mass. 2. GABA fights cortisol, which is critical because with increased cortisol comes fat storage and especially around that belly area, and muscle breakdown, which tanks your metabolism. Here's the catch. Your natural GABA levels can get thrown off easily by stress, poor habits, and even diet. And while some people turn to GABA supplements, it's controversial whether they actually pass the blood-brain blood-brain barrier. So here's the better move. Simply help your body naturally produce more GABA at night using these 4 foods. First up, alcohol. Alcohol destroys GABA production. You might fall asleep, but you're not recovering. You're just knocked out with no GABA. 2, fermented foods. Gut health plays a huge role in GABA production. So think kimchi, sauerkraut, and kefir. 3, fava beans or broad beans for my UK viewers. Not only full of GABA, but bonus, they also contain L-Dopa, which gives you that feel-good dopamine boost. And 4, cocoa, a natural GABA enhancer and a great excuse for a nighttime treat. High-quality sleep is the foundation to losing fat and building muscles simultaneously. So, trying to compete with Jocko's 4:30 AM wake-up battle? Not only is that a fight you're likely to lose, but it'll only keep you stuck, spinning your wheels, holding onto fat and building very little muscle. And that's why maximizing GABA for better body composition, it earns a spot in the strong contender tier. Now let's talk about culinary ingenuity from the one and only Big John Anderson.
Ground beef in a bag, a little bit of sauce that you enjoy. Eating on the run has never been so easy. Look, give it a squeeze, out it comes. Looks kind of nasty, I know. It's actually really good.
Before you freak out, yes, that's ground beef in the bag. It's not Big John reenacting 2 girls, 1 cup. But here's the thing. While most people won't squeeze meat out of a bag in public, the principle behind it is legit. When you're on the go, finding high protein, healthy food, it's a nightmare. But the problem with habits like ground beef in a bag is they force you to do that one critical thing that causes most people to fail. Completely flipping your life upside down just to get in shape. And when your habits feel unnatural or unsustainable, it leads to inconsistency and eventually quitting. Yes, you go all in on your plan, but ask yourself this. If you watch yourself doing this in public, would you be okay with it? Would you really like to live like this long term? Yeah, I didn't think so. But a key takeaway from Big John's beef in a bag is this. Experiment. You do not need the perfect plan on day 1. You just need to start testing what works for you and adjust as you go. And here's a quick example of habits that I use with clients to help them find what sticks. 1, habit stacking. Simply take something you're already doing, like brewing your morning coffee, and pair it with something new, like cranking out 50 push-ups while you wait. 2, weighted walks. Simply turn your daily steps into a fat-burning workout by adding a weighted vest or a weighted backpack. It cranks up the intensity, gets your heart rate into zone 2, and torches calories. 3, pre-meal hydration habits. Kick off every meal with at least 500 mils or 2 cups of fluid. It signals your brain that your stomach's filling up so you feel full faster. So while the principle of these extreme habits is great, they're often just a fast track to failure because they're too extreme for real life. And that's why habits like these, they belong in the hit or miss tier. For some people, beef in a bag might actually work. But for most of us, it's the principle behind these habits that matters. It's 2025, so unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard of GLP-1s. These drugs are everywhere. But Dr. Peter Attia has got some bombshell insights.
With regards to what could be wrong with it, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. Almost without exception, every patient we've put on this drug has lost muscle mass, and they have lost it at a rate that alarms me.
Here's the deal. For the average person that is not resistance training or eating enough protein, it's totally normal to lose a little muscle along with fat during weight loss. But what is Peter seeing with his patients that are working out and are eating enough protein too?
But let's be clear. If you lost 10 pounds of muscle and 10 pounds of fat to go from 180 to 200, would that be good? Well, only if you were more than 50% body fat at the outset. Otherwise, you've disproportionately lost muscle to fat. In fact, you've gotten fatter as you've lost weight.
And this is not just social media hype. This alarming muscle loss is caught the attention of the pharmaceutical industry, and they realize how bad it is for the branding of these GLP-1s. So to combat muscle breakdown, studies have been commissioned this year to combine GLP-1s with testosterone injections to prevent muscle loss. This is a bit nuts because you're willfully stepping into the polypharma territory, relying on multiple drugs and the healthcare system just to get lean. But the GLP-1 and testosterone combination is because the unstoppable muscle loss is not just a short-term issue. Losing muscle like this sets you up for long-term disaster. 1, you have a lowered metabolic rate. Because less muscle means your body burns fewer calories at rest. 2, you have lowered blood sugar control. Muscle is a sponge for glucose, so with less of it, your body handles blood sugar much less effectively. 3, you have reduced metabolic flexibility. Your body becomes worse at switching between burning fat and burning carbs for fuel. And what does all of that mean for most people? A vicious cycle of lose fat and muscle on the GLP-1, then regain more fat than muscle off the GLP-1, GLP-1, and finally end up back where you started. Or worse, you have to stay on the GLP-1s for life. And the current data backs this up. In this study, the GLP-1 group lost a massive 14.9% of their body weight, whereas the placebo group only lost 2.4%. Even though both groups followed the same exercise and nutrition protocols, the GLP-1 group lost tons more muscle mass. And this is where it gets really difficult. Because GLP-1s work and people lose weight, and a lot of it is body fat, but they're also losing significant amounts of muscle mass too. Even with workouts and protein dialed in, GLP-1s seem to independently attack muscle due to the extreme weight loss that they cause. The reality is, this is messy. Sure, you could go the polypharma route with GLP-1s and testosterone, but it's fraught with pitfalls that can leave you worse off than where you started. So for this reason, GLP-1s have to land firmly in that use with caution tier. They could be game changers for some, but for others, they're a disaster. And if you're new here, my name is Tim. I'm a food scientist and personal trainer, now based in Austin, Texas. I specialize in helping guys hit 10% body fat without letting fitness take over their life. So subscribe for more, or if you're interested in one-to-one coaching from me, go to my website. Now it's my turn, and I'm tackling one of the biggest myths holding people back. We all know that sitting all day is not exactly a recipe for getting in shape, but most of us are stuck at a desk for 8 hours a day, right? So if you hit the gym for a morning session a few times a week, that should balance it out, right? Well, as it turns out, not quite. A massive study involving over 1 million people showed that sitting for 8 hours per day undid all the benefits from that 1 hour of intense exercise. And the results? Metabolic dysfunction and a body that just resists fat loss and muscle gain. You see, they found the key wasn't in intense workouts. It's actually in your daily low intensity movement. The data actually shows we're built to be active throughout the day. And if you can hit the equivalent of 8,500 steps per day spread throughout the day, you can massively boost fat burning. And why? Because it stimulates these two powerful processes. One, it activates lipoprotein lipase. This enzyme breaks down body fats in a form your body can use for energy. And two, it boosts insulin sensitivity. This helps your body better use glucose for fuel, absorb protein to build muscle, and release fats for energy. Simply put, being less sedentary throughout the day is much more important than cramming in a 1 hour workout. But we still want the benefits of resistance training for building muscle and staying resilient. So how do we fit all this activity into our day without turning our schedule into one big fitness routine? Micro workouts and step stacking. And here's what I have my clients do. 1. Micro workouts. Forget that hour at the gym mentality. Commit to 15-minute workouts spread across your week. You can choose to knock out 3 back-to-back in the gym if you want, or hit 1 quick session when you wake up. The goal is workout sessions that fit seamlessly into your day whilst also delivering serious physique results. 2. Step stacking. Tie your steps to your meals. After every meal, commit to a 15-minute walk. Whether it's a walking meeting, pacing at home, or using a walking pad, each walk adds 1,500 to 2,000 steps, making hitting that 8,500 steps easy. So focus on consistent movement throughout your day, not a pattern of extreme intensity followed by hours of being sedentary. That is the real secret to staying lean and defined. And that's why daily activity, it lands squarely in the undeniable winner tier. And for more coaching tips, watch my video here.